Hi, my name is Savannah Shea, and you're listening to CFRC 101.9.
So we're here live in the CFRC studios, CFRC Studio A, CFRC 101.9 FM. We're here doing a live session, and we're here with Savannah Shea.
Hello. How are you?
I'm very well. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm. And, our show kind of focuses on introducing musicians from in and around Kingston to, the general Kingston public of Thursdays, 11 a.m. So why don't you introduce yourself and the sort of music that you make to our audience?
Amazing. So yes, my name is Savannah Shea. I am a singer-songwriter. I'm a voice teacher. I'm a visual artist. I write kind of folky, jazz-influenced, bluesy songs. And I love to play my own music, but I also love to do covers and sing with other people. So I have a bunch of different projects, and I sort of bounce between. I would say I'm primarily a musician, but I also supplement my career with visual art practices, and I love to collaborate with other people in other disciplines. So yeah, that's kind of my vibe.
And how did you get started with music, as a musician? Yeah,
so I'm a true townie. I've been in Kingston for 25 years, and I started with piano lessons, and then my family on my dad's side is very musical, so there was a lot of sitting around at Christmas with uncles and cousins singing, and my uncle was also a minister in a church, so we would sing in his church, and those were some of my first performance experiences with singing at the church, which is the best audience because they're all just really nice, and there's no one's expecting too much from you, so it was very gentle way to enter the scene. And I guess that's also where
harmonies and things like that come in.
Yeah, totally. Singing, I remember very distinctly my aunt and my cousin singing harmonies along to all the hymns and being whoa, that's so cool. I wish I knew how to do that. And then definitely my mom too would sing harmonies in the car. And I remember distinctly the first time I ever felt like I was getting harmony. I was listening to Let It Rain by Amanda Marshall in my kitchen, and I was just belting the third above and just I got it. It was so exciting. And then
that moment when you're able to separate your voice from the harmony voice, and you're oh great, I know how this works now.
Yeah, and you figure out how to follow the melody. It's such a cool, you kind of have to just trust and let go a little bit. And then it just takes a lot of practice. But and then I was also a part of Cantabile Choirs, which is a big a cornerstone in Kingston music. I did that for 10 years with Mark Surrett, and actually I'm going to he's doing his final conducting concert on Saturday, so I'm excited to go and see him perform, which will be cool. And so there was a lot of things in my younger years getting me into music, and then it took me a long time to admit to myself that I wanted to be a musician. I just didn't think I was allowed for some reason. But I started doing musical theater, which I enjoyed, but I really enjoyed the singing, and I didn't really enjoy the acting part so much. I was working with Blue Canoe, which is another Kingston sort of theater cornerstone, and then this is a really long answer. I'm trying to get it in there fast.
No, it's fascinating.
Okay, that's good. And then I ended up being a nanny for a family where the parents were musicians, and they were do you want to be a musician? And I was I don't know. And they're well, if you want to be a musician, you have to decide. So I remember having a day where I was playing I played a couple songs at some fundraising event, and I just told the whole audience, I was I've decided I'm going to be a musician as of today. And then
that's what people say, right? You are a musician the second you decide you are a musician.
Yeah. The only thing separating you is whether you think you are or not, basically.
Whether you give yourself that permission.
Yeah, exactly. And then the years that followed were a lot of open mics. I did almost a year of 2 or 3 open mics a week, and then started to play shows, joined a band, and then I ended up doing a 4-year degree at Humber, studying jazz voice, or voice performance, but it's a jazz program. And then now I'm back in Kingston, and it's my full-time job, and I love it, and I teach voice as well, and yeah, that's the real short compressed version. And there's so many people in there that need to be thanked for that process being made possible, but yeah, that's the story.
It's a community effort.
Absolutely, and that's why I love Kingston, because I'm still seeing people, the people that were coming to my shows in 2016, 2015 are still coming to my shows now, and they're you've gotten so much better, and that's just the coolest. It's the best energy.
Yes, I was at Musiki like a few months ago now, and there were people who, I think they were the ones who first introduced me to your music, and they were just like, oh, you've got to check out Savannah,
Aw.
like she's been singing for a while, and she sounds so great, and like I've been seeing her since she was like starting out and singing, and and it's only just gone from strength to strength from there. And
Oh,
all
that's
that.
so nice. Wow. I love when someone tells you something that someone else said about you behind your back, like in a nice way.
In a nice way.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, I'm glad that you found me and that we're here doing this. This is so cool.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the music that you've put out, because you put out a song called Best Remembered. That's the latest song as of the time of recording that you've put out. And, there's this like wonderful kind of introspective lyricism and everything going on in that song. Tell me a bit about it.
Thank you so much for saying that. That's so nice. I personally love lyrics. And so when people are listening to the lyrics, it's very meaningful to me. I know not every music person is a lyric person, but I appreciate when people are.
It works for certain types of music a lot more as well.
Totally. I really like to write strophic songs, so just like verse, no chorus. Sometimes there'll be like an ooh bridge where I just ooh for a while. That's what the song is. I wrote it at a time when I was sort of thinking about my legacy, which is something that I've always been kind of concerned about in this weird way. Even from like a very young age, I'm like, what am I going to create? What will I leave behind?
The meaningful aspect.
Yeah. And then I kind of had this realization through experiences of activism surrounding like environmental causes and just sort of like immersing myself more deeply in nature, where I was like, actually, I think my legacy is going to be an energetic release of all of the things that make me up into the world around me. So like the idea of the song is like, I'll be best remembered by the trees, by the sea, by the air. I'm not even saying the right words. You'll hear it later. I'll play it later. But I don't know. It's a mix of spiritual ideas of like the concept of like leave the campsite cleaner than you found it. Like I try to take energy in. I try to be loving. I try to give energy back out. And I hope that whatever happens to me after I leave this place, like people will remember me and see me in the natural world all around me.
And another side of it is just really poetic.
Well, thank you. I would say I would consider myself a poet. I would, even though I usually take those poems and turn them into songs. I also do write a lot of non-musical poetry too. So yeah, I like the way that words can like a certain arrangement of words can clarify an idea that's so big and impossible to understand. And yeah,
it's encapsulated
in
such few words.
Yeah, and language lacks in so many ways, but then when you put music to it, it gives us this other element. And I do a thing a lot where I quote my own lyrics to people because I'm like, once I figure out a way to say something, that's how I'm going to say it,
And you've got to back yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm my own hype man. Yeah.
Well, we are also your hype people here.
Thank you.
We'll be hearing the song right now, won't we?
Not right now because I don't have the right tuning going. I wasn't going to play it first. Is that okay?
That's totally fine.
That was such a smooth transition that you just did. I totally ruined it. But I'm going to play another song for you. This is a song I wrote maybe a year ago now, and it's called Time to Leave. And it's about recognizing when what you're getting out of a situation isn't equal to what you're giving it, and you have to remove yourself for your own heart. Yeah.
Savannah Shea on CFRC. We'll come back and we'll talk a lot more about that song and other music that you're working on.
Awesome. Thank you.
The patience of a heart putting love over lust, time over touch. How can I break it to you without breaking it? Sit next to you without faking it. I thought you were gone. I I was hurt but happy too, thinking that I could move on. But you came back. I found out that you had been hurting, and it made me so sad, 'cause you don't deserve any of that. You sang your songs to me, and I cried because they were perfect, and I've been missing you so long. I tell my friends that I'm over all the feelings until they come back again. But I know that you're not holding me the way I'm holding you. And I know that I am worthy of a love like the one I grew. And it makes me feel weak, all of this letting go I do of the hearts that I love the most. Let yours go and keep mine close. Love needs time to leave, making room for pain to flood me. And the pain needs time to bleed. And when my heart is empty, I'll rebuild these walls, patch the cracks them neatly, and pray another love will come along that will tear them down completely. I bite my tongue, all the secrets that I've burned, making ashes from my words. You'll never know, 'cause it doesn't really matter, and it's time for me to go. Now that you're not holding on to me the way I'm holding on to you, and I know that I am worthy of a love like the one I grew. It makes me feel weak, all of this letting go I do of the hearts that I love the most. Let yours go and keep mine close. Love needs time to leave, making room for pain to flood me. And the pain needs time to bleed. And when my heart is empty, I'll rebuild these walls, patch the cracks up neatly, and pray another love will come along that will tear them down completely. I won't make that mistake again, putting all my power into someone else's hands. And it's worth the hurt, knowing what you're thinking. It's better to be sure that you're not holding on to me the way I'm holding on to you. And I know that I am worthy of a love like the one I grew. It makes me feel weak, all of this letting go I do of the hearts that I love the most. Let yours go and keep mine close. The love needs time to leave, making room for pain to flood me. And the pain needs time to bleed. And when my heart is empty, I'll rebuild these walls, patch the cracks up neatly, and pray another love will come along that will tear them down completely. The patience of a heart putting love over lust, time over touch. I could not break it to you without breaking in.
Still here in the CFRC studios with Savannah Shea, and you just performed a version, an acoustic version of "Time to Leave," which is a brand new song of yours, which isn't out yet.
Yes, it is not. I have a lot of songs that aren't out yet. They are all just sitting somewhere in my brain. Yeah, I wrote that one maybe like a year ago, and I did play it like all summer at my shows, and played it with a band and played it solo, and it's one of my favorites for sure. But yes, I'm in the process. I just built a little studio in my bedroom. I went to the lumber yard. I bought lumber, and I built myself a little like box in the corner of my bedroom. So my goal for November is I'm paring down on shows. My goal is to record some original music, and I would like to self-produce and release an acoustic album. That's my goal.
That would be lovely, yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned playing in a trio. You were at the Limestone Blues this year as a trio.
Yes, I play with two incredible musicians, Anna Sudak and Christina Foster. They are both like heroes of mine. I grew up watching Christina perform with Rocket Surgery, who's one of my favorite bands, and then kind of like weaseled my way in and became friends with her, which was very exciting. And then Anna and I played a show together years and years ago, and I was just like so amazed by her songwriting abilities and her performance abilities. And she's so funny. And like, I've been messaging them, literally, we have the receipts. Like I've been messaging them for 7 years being like, hey, can we three all sing together? Trying to make it happen. And just in the last year, we finally got together and became a trio. We call ourselves Foster, Shea, and Sudak, which is our last names. And it's like folky, 3-part harmonies, like guitar kind of music, but we're hoping to continue to add to it like instrumentally, and we do some originals, we do some covers, and it's just the you come to the show for the music, but you stay for the banter because we are very silly. It's a very good time.
I mean, everyone loves that.
Yeah. It's nice when the music is fun, but it's also so nice to have like, I don't know, a little bit of audience participation, a little back and forth. I like to ask people if they have any questions at my shows. That's one of my favorite.
Oh, nice. Like a Q&A as well as a performance.
Yeah, exactly. And it usually leads into kind of a silly space. So that's what we like to have happen.
We love to see that. But let's talk about the music as well, because this song is unreleased. Mm-hmm. You said that there are other songs just stewing away, marinating in the brain. And this one in particular, it sounds like we were talking in the studio about how it sounds quite like Joni Mitchell. There's like this storytelling vibe to it, this singer-songwriter vibe to it. And we were talking before about like the poetry, and I think that also, it all ties into this kind of storytelling thing. So, and you know, I think with your art as well.
Right.
You kind of, it all adds to this narrative. And for our radio listeners who can't see, you've got this really wonderfully painted, super colorful guitar case as well.
Yes, that well, thank you for all those nice things you said about my song. That's so nice. I love Joni Mitchell. I'm one of those people who I haven't done the full like deep dive through her whole catalog, but the songs that I know of hers, I'm just like, I can't believe, like, they're some of the best songs ever written, and I love to cover her. And obviously she inspired open tuning playing for me. That's big for her. In terms of me being a storyteller or like telling stories through my songs and the art, I don't know that it's like I don't know that it's what I think I'm doing. I don't know if I'm trying to be really intentional about being a storyteller, but the goal for me is to, at least with music, art I love to do, but it feels a little bit more of a unfamiliar space. Like I just kind of throw myself at it. I don't have as much training. I don't have as much awareness about it. I love it, but it's a little more hit and miss. Whereas with music, I feel like my goal is to connect with people and to write something that's very personal and then like ends up being relatable, which is like the cliche. Like if you write it about yourself, someone else will be like, oh, me too. But I had the realization recently that my goal would be to write songs that allow energetic blocks. Like if you have blocks in, I don't know if this relates to everybody, but when I feel pain or I feel anxiety or depression, there's like little pockets of like dense energy in my body. And I like through experiencing art, those things move through crying, through laughter, all of those things. I'm able to move energy through my body and kind of become clearer.
You have to let it out.
Yeah. And so I hope to create art that allows people to move energy through their body. That's what I want to do. And if all of the things I create together tell a story, that's beautiful. I love that. But I don't think I ever create something from like, how will this fit into my story? That's not necessarily my modus operandi. Is that something people say? That's wild that I just said that. And my MO, there you go, short form.
Yeah. But then also the art, like it's a very prominent part of your releases, at least, because I've seen the single like the singles and the EPs, and those also have this really vivid, colorful, and like really dense kind of artwork as well, which you do yourself.
Yeah, I do. Don't put that in. You gotta cut that out. That's brutal.
We're keeping it in.
I do make all of the art for my, I'm like blushing now. Should have worn some makeup. I do the art for my releases. Usually I will do some kind of, like, I'm really big on self-portraiture. So a lot of the visuals for my albums are some kind of like overlaid thing of my own face or very abstract representation of my own face. And then that's a lot of what I do in my own visual art as well. So, I mean, I think it's just a nice, I don't know. It's a nice way to have my paws on all the little parts of what I create. Yeah, I don't know.
For sure.
I think I don't really think about that part too much. It's just like, well, I'm going to make a painting for this album now, you know?
Mm-hmm. And you were talking earlier about covers and the covers that you like to do. And another cover night that you did recently was a show of Adele covers.
Yes, and it was so fun. My friend Atiari and I, Atiari is an incredible local musician, piano player, singer, guitarist, who just blows my mind with their abilities. And Atiari and I did a cover night. It was my dream to do an Adele show. I've always wanted to do one. But sometimes I don't have all the organizational skills. And Atiari came in and was like, we're going to do an Adele show. And they planned the whole show, planned the set. And then I got to just come in and learn the songs and play it. And these songs are so in my core because all I've done my whole life is listen to Adele. I mean, that's not true, but you know, Adele is
for a very long time.
Yeah, very big deal for me. And so it was such a fun process. And then we had Michael Broadhead, who is actually my roommate as well and is an amazing bass player and like a music advocate in town. He played bass for our show. And then Jordan Bullhose of Nison played drums for us. And he was amazing. And it was just a really good vibe. And the audience was singing along and everyone was there. And hopefully we called it the Adele Sessions. We're hoping to do more tribute shows because I feel like who wouldn't want to come to an Adele show, you know?
It sounds like such a wonderful vibe.
And we got to wear gowns. Like we did, it was the full vibe. Yeah, it was so much fun. And very cathartic. Like her songs are all so emotional. So it was a very cool, it was such an awesome night. And I'm very grateful to Atiari for making that happen because go check out Atiari.
For sure. And we're going to be hearing another unreleased song of yours right now.
This next song is called Forget to Think About You. I'm hitting you both. I'm like starting from the top with two very sad, like heartbreak songs. But
I feel like there's room for that on a Thursday, 11 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, you know, you got to write the sad songs to get to the good place. And like these songs I've written and they've been very cathartic. And now I feel like I'm in a much better place. So this is a song called Forget to Think About You. And it's about the first day after a breakup where you don't think about that person. Like, and you go the whole day and you don't think about them. And then you realize you're like, oh, I didn't even think about them today. And it's kind of this like bittersweet feeling. So that's what this song is.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're here right now on CFRC.
I won't tell you of my pain anymore. I'll keep the hurting to myself. And I'll be careful what I share with you. Save all of me for someone else. They say you only want the best of me, that you've got nothing left to give. To my darkness and my misery, well, that's alright, I understand. I'm getting tired of living with it too. I don't blame you, still it hurts. Sometimes I get angry and the sadness feels worse when I am staring at my phone, hoping to see your name. And I remember that I'm not the one you think of when it's raining, even though I know it's playing out the way that it is supposed to. I'll be waiting for the day when I forget to think about you. You say you're drawn to novelty, so I run through equations in my mind. If I play it cool, don't talk to you, then disappear for a week or two, will you come running to my side? And I can't help but to share everything. Soon you know me inside out again. And what is left for me to give? What offering? Except for all my love, and that was not enough. I don't blame you, still it hurts. Sometimes I get angry and the sadness feels worse when I am staring at my phone, hoping to see your name. And I remember that I'm not the one you think of when it's raining, even though I know it's playing out the way that it is supposed to. I'll be waiting for the day when I forget to think about you. I want a love that goes down easily. I don't want to be a burden or a vice. And I think that maybe I am starting to believe that I don't have to sacrifice any part of me to find someone who I love as much as they love me. Hold each other close and be sure that this is where we want to be. Even though I know it's playing out the way that it is supposed to, I'll be waiting for the day when I forget to think about you.
So that song that I just played was called Forget to Think About You. And it's about, I think I said before, it's about that first day where you forget to think about the person that you broke up with. The irony being that when you write a song about somebody and you play it, every time you play it, you're going to think about them. So it kind of was counterproductive, but it's still healing, you know. The last verse is all very affirmation-y. You know, I'm starting to believe that I don't have to sacrifice any part of me to find someone who I love as much as they love me. That's the lyric. So
it serves a different purpose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like projecting me into the future, propelling me, in fact. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking of stuff that's happening in the future.
Yes.
This is an unreleased song. You played us 2 unreleased songs.
Yes.
What's coming up for you next?
Yes. Okay. This is great. And I need some accountability. So I'm going to say this to the people. I am working on a solo acoustic record. It will be at least 10 songs. I'm going to record it myself with help from Aaron and some other people. And then I will be putting that out. And then I also have recorded a piano and voice EP at the Isabel, actually, through the Imagine Project, which is a sort of a grant program that the Isabel runs. I recorded a piano voice EP with Michael McKittrick, who's the best piano player in the world. I mean, that's not true, obviously. He's just very good. And those songs will be coming out. There's some videos those will hopefully be coming out January, but we don't know. You know, life happens. That's my goal. And then I just released a song with Hartman, Christopher, called Days Go By.
Days Go By.
And I got to sing on that track, which was so cool. I'm doing more collaboration with Kay Kenny, who runs the Ground Up Dance Festival. We're going to be doing like a dance theater piece that I'm really excited about with some other wonderful people. So there's lots coming up in terms of releases. Please follow me on Instagram, Savannah Shea Music, because I post every detail of my entire life on there, and I'm pretty funny, I think, sometimes. And I'll post pictures of cute animals, and I'll talk about music. And yeah,
done that, followed.
Great, lovely.
And you're going to take us out today with one last song.
Yes, I'm now going to play Best Remembered.
Yes.
This song about legacy, about nature. It has become sort of inadvertently a funeral song as well. I played it at my own grandmother's funeral, which was a very beautiful experience, but then I've had other people adopt it for their own funerals, and I feel like it sends a good message, so I'd love to share that with you. And you can listen to this song on Spotify, a self-released Best Remembered. Yeah.
Here on CFRC. Well, thanks so much for joining us today. This is the last song. You've been listening to the CFRC live sessions. My name's Rue. We're here with Savannah, and we're going out with your last song.
Thank you so much for having me.
Be best remembered by the wind. It knows every place that I have been, every hill I've climbed, and every lake I swim. I'll be best remembered by the wind. I'll be best remembered by the land. You taught me how to walk and where to stand. Find me in the mountain as it turns to sand. I'll be best remembered by the land. I'll be best remembered by the sea. I'll return every drop of water that lives inside of me. And when she dances with the moon, know that I am free. I'll be best remembered by the sea. Ooh. be best remembered by the birds, sitting in a garden, singing without words, with a voice that's never doubted and a cry that's always heard. I'll be best remembered by the birds, and I'll be best remembered by the trees. In every shaded corner and every time you breathe, I left my secrets in the forest to be whispered through the leaves. I'll be best remembered by the trees, and I'll be best remembered by the sun, shining light upon the people and the places I come from, rising easy in the morning, falling softly when day's done. I'll be best remembered by the sun. A heart putting love over lust, time over touch. I could not break it to you without breaking it.